Hey everybody, it's Beardy from Beardy and the Baldy channel, bringing you the Beardy's books for today, Wednesday, October 19th, 2016. So it is another massive list of books this week. Huge week. And I've cut down what I get. But this is still huge. Is probably the most comics I've seen on the wall taking up space this week in a long time. So all that aside, I'm probably gonna have to run through these pretty quick. So let's get started. Up first is All New X-Men number 14. This is kind of sort of a new story, picking up with the characters as they go forward, mainly about Cyclops this issue, as he's dealing with the fallout from getting his leg damaged when they were in Paris, and new threats and something that's going on in here. So this was pretty cool. So check that out if you like the teenage characters in the X-Men, which has always been one of the most intriguing aspects of the X-Men, is, you know, that they're supposed to be teenagers and all of that. So there's that. Another X title up next, Death of X, issue 2 of 4. The whole Inhumans versus X-Men story is going to build out of this. And this is going back to the pre All New, All Different Marvel Universe. Well, pre what we've been reading. So this happens in the gap between the end of Secret Wars and the All New, All Different Universe. So this fills in all the details of what we know, that the Terrigen Mist is harmful and deadly to mutants, but now we're seeing. So it's not giving us any new information that way, but it's giving us new information as how the characters learned of it and what set off this rift between the Inhumans and the mutants, and maybe what Cyclops did or will do that branded him where he is at the beginning of the All New, All Different Universe. Up next, Justice League number 7. This is pretty cool. It's continuing the State of Fear story, where all the Justice League members were getting triggered by different things that were causing them to act irrationally with fear and do things that they might not have done. There's a really cool page in here, I thought, with Aquaman and Wonder Woman working together, dragging the chains of an old U.S. military ship, and the whole attitude that Arthur has in here is pretty intense. Yeah, so check that out. That's pretty good. Mockingbird number 8, the final issue of the series. This wraps up the whole series, and it wraps up the what were they calling this arc? I don't remember what they were calling this arc, but the whole cruise ship and the thing where she had been lured onto the cruise ship to within alleged information that would help Hawkeye and all that. And it's pretty funny. This again stands out to be one of the funniest books Marvel has put out that I've been reading. There's a great little map in here detailing all the stuff around the Bermuda Triangle. There's a hand gesture code. It's chock full. I'm really sad to see this book go. It was a lot of fun. So I hope to see this creative team on something else, hopefully, with the Marvel Now stuff coming up. All right, part 2 of the Island of Scars in Green Arrow, issue 9. This was another really cool book, or entry into the Green Arrow series. It picks up pretty much where the last one left off, where Black Canary and Green Arrow and John Diggle are trapped back on the island that Ollie was stuck on, and a lot of stuff that was going on there, they have to either help or interfere with. So this was a pretty cool issue. It was a lot of fun. The dialogue's pretty good. Yeah, some of these DC books right now seem to be like they're doing these kind of like 2-issue mini stories to like segue into the next thing, which is kind of cool, but some of them feel like, man, I could have read that story for another issue or two. They just kind of wrapped up a little too fast, but still good, still like it. As you can see, it's towards the middle of my pile. Well, you can't see that, but it is towards the middle of my pile. Up next is new number 1 from Marvel. Again, part of the Marvel Now. I will say, if you don't want to know fallout of Civil War 2, do not read Infamous Iron Man. This was a pretty cool issue. I really enjoyed it. It really caught me off guard. I should have known better. It's Brian Michael Bendis. And it just really, really gave me something to think about with Doctor Doom in a way that I've never really thought before. I mean, he's always just been the bad guy, and they've been doing some cool stuff with him recently in the Iron Man books since Secret Wars ended. But I don't know. There's a part of me that's hoping, and there's nothing in here about this. This is just my mind working, that maybe this Infamous Iron Man and the events and some things that might happen in that over the next couple of months to year, I think, honestly, will lead to the return, maybe not lead to, but contribute to the return of the Fantastic Four. My guess is we will see the Fantastic Four back in the Marvel Comics universe by the end of 2017, if not sooner. So that's my prediction. And there's nothing in there that necessarily indicates that. That's just me segueing off Doctor Doom and Fantastic Four in their history. So anyway, up next is The Mighty Thor, number 12, and this issue is a lot of fun. As you can see, Mjolnir is front and center on this cover. You pretty much can't see anything else. A little blurry Thor up here. This issue is basically the origin of the hammer, and there was a lot more to it than I expected, and it's really cool, and it might be explaining some of the strange behavior that the hammer has been going through since Jane Foster picked up the hammer a while back. So this was really cool, and they did a cool thing where it's another story told in flashback. So you get Russell Dauterman's art through the first couple pages and the end, and then where'd it go? Fraser Irving did the art in the flashback during the origin story, so that was really cool to see all that. All right, we're down to the last 3, and this week it is all DC books in the top 3 for me. I think I got them out of order here. Here we go. All right. Superman, number 9. Issue 8 ended with Clark and Jonathan being trapped on Dinosaur Island. So this is Escape from Dinosaur Island. It's the next chapter in that. And it's really cool because it picks up literally right where it left off, where they find the note left by Cloud and the losers on the island. And it's really cool to see that. And they have a whole story with... I just blanked out of his name. Come on. Captain Storm, sorry. So this is a really cool issue where Clark and Jonathan are on the island with Captain Storm trying to find their way back home to find the things that got them there. And it segues back to, or references back to, things that happened in issue 2. And that was really neat to see that there's been something building and going on here. So Superman number 9, definitely a good read. Again, loving the art in here. I mean, great stuff. Love it. Love the designs that they've done with Jonathan, how he's wearing his own kind of version of the suit. And this is just a really cool issue. Up next, Aquaman number 9. Again, this picks up right after the finale of issue 8 with the what do they call it? The Shaggy Man, which is a character I've never heard of before. So I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's this guy, kind of like Doomsday, that no matter how you attack him, he will adapt and transform his attack based on that and not be affected by that type of attack again. Only this time, they throw everything Atlantis has at it, and it still makes its way to Amnesty Bay, which is of course the coastal town that Arthur grew up in. So it's him dealing with that, and we also get to see what's going on with Mara as she's in the what do they call it, the Tower of Widowhood, where she's undergoing training and education to be a worthy wife to Aquaman based on Atlantean standards, as she comes from a different city, a different country, if you will. So for her to adapt and learn what they expect, and of course she's not happy with it, but she's going to do what it takes to be seen as worthy in the eyes of the people of Atlantis for Arthur, and I think that's really cool. Because again, I've said this before, the bond that they've had has been one of the best, I think, in the New 52, and the longest in the New 52, rivaled only by Lois and Clark from the pre-Flashpoint that are now there on that Earth. Speaking of Lois and Clark, Trinity wraps out my #1 pick for the week. Trinity, this was really, really good. Francis Manapul knocks it out of the park. Really set up a really interesting story in the first issue, and this continues even more so. I got to show you this page. I just love the art, the expression on their faces. This is a really cool story because I had no idea where this was going to go, and there was a villain shows up towards the end. It was not a character I expected, so it was really cool. I really enjoyed this. I really love the art and the storytelling. It's just, I don't know, it's not that the story doesn't have weight to what's happening to the characters, it just doesn't feel like it's one of those big earth-shattering, gotta save the whole world. It's a very much more intimate, personal story. So it'll be interesting to see. The first 2 issues have kind of dealt heavily with Clark. It'll be interesting to see if the issues going forward will veer into some of the other characters and how this is all going to tie together. So there it is. There has been. That's Beardy's Books for today, October 19th, 2016. So come on out to Comics Connection in York or Mechanicsburg if you're